I want to try something a little different today. I was reading through the source material for this deep dive last night, just, sat at my kitchen table, and honestly, it kind of messed me up.
Oh,
In a
wow.
good way, I think. But it really stopped me cold.
That is, that's an ominous start. Usually you're coming in here with, hey, look at this cool data on productivity or, check out this history fact. Messed you up is a strong opener.
Yeah, it's a thought experiment. And it's deceptively simple. I'm sure you've probably heard versions of it before, maybe in a philosophy class or some late-night dorm room chat. But the way this text, it's a piece called Quiet After Noise, frames it. Well, you're game to try it.
I'm strictly here for the ride. Let's do it. But I should warn you, if this is one of those imagine you're a tree exercises, I might struggle.
No trees involved, just a calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, and for you listening, I actually want you to do this too.
Yeah.
Don't close your eyes if you're driving, obviously,
Please don't.
but just mentally pause.
Oh.
I want you to imagine the date, today's date, but change the year. Flash forward exactly 100 years.
Okay. A century jump. So we're talking 21, 25, something like
A
that.
full century. The calendar has turned over. The political map probably looks completely different. The technology is, well, it's unrecognizable. Maybe we have flying cars, maybe we don't. Who knows? But here is this specific reality I need you to look at. In that world, where are you? Where am I?
Well, strictly speaking, statistically, we're gone.
We aren't just gone. We are dust. Neither you nor I nor the person listening to this right now. None of us are walking around. We aren't breathing. We are not checking our notifications. We are definitely not stressing about that email we forgot to send.
It's the total wipeout scenario. It's a complete system reboot.
It is. And look, I know this sounds dark. Welcome to the deep dive. Everybody dies.
Yeah, great branding. That's really uplifting stuff for a Tuesday morning commute.
Bear with me, please. Because this isn't meant to be morbid. We're not trying to depress anyone. But the source material we are diving into today argues that acknowledging this specific fact, this 100-year expiration date, is actually the secret to freedom.
Freedom. That's a big word.
It's a hard reset on reality, is how the text puts it.
It's interesting because we spend so much of our lives, almost all of our energy, actively avoiding that thought.
Totally.
We live in a culture that is just obsessed with anti-aging, with legacy, with making a mark. We build monuments, companies, social media profiles. All of it screams, I was here, don't forget me.
Exactly. And this text, Quiet After Noise, is basically looking you in the eye and saying, hey, relax. You're going to be forgotten. And that is the best news you've heard all day.
Wow. Okay. That's a bold claim. Being forgotten is good news. My ego is already a little bruised.
Well, that's the mission of this deep dive. We're going to unpack this text. It's described as a quiet conversation or a meditation. It's not a white paper. It doesn't have graphs or charts. It's more of a philosophical argument that our fear of the future is totally misplaced because, frankly, the future doesn't belong to us.
I really like that title, Quiet After Noise. It sets a very specific stage, just with those 3 words.
What does that title say to you?
Well, the noise it's everything we live in, right? It's the traffic, the 24/7 news cycle, the internal monologue of am I good enough, the pressure to succeed, the notifications on your phone.
Love the notifications.
The noise is the anxiety of modern existence. So the quiet, it isn't just silence. It's what's left when you strip all that away. It's the bedrock reality, the thing that's true underneath all our worrying.
And the promise here is huge. If we can get past the initial fear, the, oh God, I'm going to die part, the author claims that realizing you will be forgotten is the key to productivity.
That's the part that seems so contradictory.
It is. But he says it's the key to productivity, it's the key to honesty, and it's the key to finally removing that tightness in your chest that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable.
It's so counterintuitive. Usually we think productivity comes from pressure, from deadlines, from I have to do this before I run out of time.
Right, the ticking clock.
But this source seems to suggest that the pressure is actually what paralyzes us. It's the fear of the outcome, the fear of failure that stops us from starting. If the outcome is dust, either way, maybe we can just do the work for the sake of the work.
That's a massive part of it. And stick around, because later in the show, we're going to run a specific test mentioned in the text. It's called the great-grandparent test.
Oh, I saw this in the notes. This is brutal.
It is brutal. I tried it on myself, and I failed immediately. I mean, like within 5 seconds. It completely proved the author's point about how fleeting our so-called legacy really is.
I failed it too. But I think failing it is the point, isn't it?
It's entirely the point. So let's unpack this. Let's get into the first section of our deep dive. The physical reality of impermanence. Because the text doesn't just stay in the abstract. It gets very specific about the physical spaces we occupy. And it starts with the home.
It does. And this is where the quiet part starts to get uncomfortably loud. The text asks you to look at your house. The place you are sitting right now, maybe.
Maybe you're listening to this in your kitchen.
Yeah.
I was last night. Or you're in your living room. Look at the walls.
The walls you painted. The roof you maybe paid a fortune to fix last winter. The garden you've been tending. We have this deep primal sense of mine. This is my territory, my space.
Right. It's fundamental. But the text says, frankly and bluntly,
Yeah.
the house you call yours today will stand, but someone else will be breathing inside it.
Someone else will be breathing inside it. That phrasing stopped me. It's not just about legal ownership, like a deed.
Yeah.
It's biological occupation.
It's so visceral. Think about it. Right now, your home smells like you. It smells like your cooking, your laundry detergent. It sounds like you, your music, your footsteps, your family's voices. It's your sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
But in this 100-year timeline, that sanctuary becomes someone else's backdrop.
It's a displacement. A total displacement. We are literally displaced from our own safe spaces. The text paints this picture of a stranger, 100 years from now, cooking breakfast in your kitchen, a stranger arguing with their spouse in your living room.
And they don't know you. They don't think about you.
They don't care about the memories you made there. Not in a mean way. It's just, it's not relevant. To them, you're just the previous owner. You're a name on an old document in a file somewhere, or maybe you're just the person who picked the weird tile in the bathroom that they're planning to rip out.
Oh, that part about the renovation hits home. We stress so much about getting the house perfect. We spend weekends at hardware stores.
Agonizing over paint colors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But perfect is just temporary. The next person's going to come in and say, ugh, can you believe they used this wallpaper? And tear it all down without a second thought.
It completely challenges the very concept of ownership. We think we own things, but really we're just renting them from time. We are temporary custodians. The house survives us. The bricks last longer than the breath.
And the text moves from the home to the car. Now, I have to admit, I have a bit of an attachment to my car. It's not a Ferrari or anything, but I take care of it. I wash it. I get annoyed if there's a new scratch.
Well, of course. For a lot of us, the car is an extension of the self. It represents freedom, success, mobility, a certain status. It's a statement.
But the text describes the vehicle you carefully drive, the one you wash and maintain and worry about, as becoming a heap of iron.
A heap of iron. Scrap metal. That is the inevitable destination of that luxury SUV you might be sitting in right now, stressing over the payments.
It's so hard to visualize that when you're sitting in it and it smells like new leather and you've got your music playing.
But walk through a junkyard sometime. It's a graveyard of things that were once someone's pride and joy. That crushed cube of metal used to be the car someone brought their first baby home from the hospital in.
Wow.
That rusted out frame used to be the car someone drove on their first date. Now it's just trash. The text is reminding us that the objects we surround ourselves with, which feel so permanent and significant right now, are all actively degrading. They are on their way to becoming trash.
And this leads to what I think is one of the most powerful insights in the source, the whole concept of sunk costs.
This is where we move from the physical to the personal, because acquiring these things, the house, the car, the stuff, it costs us something. And it's not just about money, is it?
Not at all. The text explicitly lists 3 things we sacrifice. It says we burn our youth, our sleep, and our peace.
That trio, youth, sleep, peace, that hits hard. Because those aren't luxuries. Those are biological essentials.
Let's break those down. Youth.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah.
it's time. It's finite. You can't earn that back. You can always earn more money, but you can't earn more 25-year-old energy.
Never. And sleep. I mean, how many people listening right now are running on a sleep deficit? We treat sleep like it's a negotiable currency. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Right. That's the hustle culture motto.
It is, but the text is saying you are trading a fundamental biological need, the thing that repairs your brain and your body, to acquire things that will literally turn into rust and dust.
And the third one, peace. That might be the most expensive one of all.
Oh, absolutely. Peace is the rarest commodity in the modern world. Anxiety is cheap and abundant. Peace is expensive and scarce. The text identifies this bitter irony. We trade our peace of mind. We take on stress, high blood pressure, constant worry to build these little empires or acquire objects that, as we just established, will either belong to total strangers or cease to exist entirely.
It's a bad trade. If you were to look at it on a balance sheet, it's a terrible investment. You're trading a finite, non-renewable resource, your life energy, for an asset that depreciates to zero or transfers ownership the moment you're gone.
It's the ultimate bad business deal.
Yeah.
And yet we all sign the contract. Every single day. We sign it when we say yes to the overtime we don't need, just to buy the upgrade we don't actually need.
And the text adds another layer to this, which it calls the paper trail reality. It says, I'm quoting here, things you sacrificed your sleep for will either belong to someone else or won't even be recorded anywhere.
That part stopped me. Won't even be recorded.
In our modern world, that feels impossible. We're obsessed with documentation. We take photos of our lunch. We tweet our random thoughts. We have this feeling that everything is being archived forever. The cloud remembers all. But the source is arguing that despite all that, most of our struggle, it just vanishes.
We confuse data with memory. We confuse a digital footprint with significance. Sure, there might be a digital record. Your emails might sit on a server somewhere in a data farm in Oregon. But the emotional weight of your sacrifice, that isn't recorded.
What do you mean by that?
The late nights you pulled to finish that big project, the caffeine jitters, the panic, the relief when it was done, that feeling isn't in a file. The deep stress you felt about that promotion, that isn't recorded. That energy simply dissipates.
It's like the energy of a storm. The storm passes and maybe some branches are down, but the wind itself, the fury of it, it's gone.
Exactly. The text is telling us that the drama of our lives, the high-stakes feelings we have that feel so important, leaves no paper trail. It evaporates. The things that feel like the end of the world on a Tuesday afternoon won't even be a footnote in history. They won't even be a footnote in your own family's history a few years later.
That is an incredibly sobering thought. All that stress, all that noise just evaporates. And that brings us perfectly into the next section. Because if our physical stuff disappears and our struggles aren't recorded, surely our reputation remains, right? That's the big hope. I want to be remembered.
Ah, the desire for legacy. It's what drives so much of human behavior, for better or for worse.
But the text has a specific tool to dismantle that idea too. And this is the test I mentioned earlier.
The great-grandparent test.
Yes. Okay, listener, I really want you to play along with us here. This is where we see if the legacy argument actually holds water in our own lives. The source material lays out a very specific timeline for human memory. It says the effective limit is generally 2 generations. After 2 generations, the memory fades into just a name.
It's such a bold claim. We like to think we remember our ancestors, we have pictures on the wall. But let's test the resolution of that memory, as the text asks.
Okay, here is the challenge from the text. I'm asking you, the listener, and I'm asking you, my friend.
Yeah.
Think of your great-grandfather. Not your grandfather. Go back 1 more generation.
Okay. Great-grandfather. I have a picture in my mind.
First question, the easy one. Do you know his full name? First and last.
I think so. On my father's side. I want to say Walter or maybe William. See, I'm already hesitating. It's one of those two, I'm pretty sure.
You're hesitating on the name. That's the easy part. That's the database entry.
Right.
Now, level 2. Do you know exactly what he feared? Not in general, like the Great Depression.
Yeah.
What specific things kept him up at night?
No, not a clue.
Did he worry about money? Did he worry about his marriage? Was he secretly afraid of thunderstorms? Was he worried his kids wouldn't respect him?
I have absolutely no idea. I have no access to his inner life.
Okay, level 3.
Yeah.
Do you know specifically what made him smile? And I don't mean just he was a nice guy. What was the specific nuance of his joy? Did he have a weird, quiet laugh? Did he love the smell of rain on hot pavement? Did a certain song make him happy?
It's silence. I have a vague image of an old man in a black and white photo, looking very stern. That's it. That is the sum total of my knowledge. I don't know his internal life at all.
And the verdict for almost everyone listening right now is a resounding no. We can't answer those questions.
That's terrifying, isn't it, when you really sit with it?
It is. Think about it. That man, your great-grandfather, lived a life just as complex and vivid and colorful as yours. He had anxieties that felt like the end of the world to him. He had moments of pure joy that felt eternal. He probably worried about his reputation. He probably sacrificed sleep. He probably thought, I need to build this business for my future family.
And 2 generations later, that family, his own bloodline, you and me, we cannot recall the basic texture of his life. We don't know who he was. We just know that he existed.
It's chilling, and it feels like a failure. It feels like we failed him by forgetting or that he failed to make a big enough mark.
But this is where the text pivots, and it's so important. It says something crucial. After you fail the test, it says, this is normal.
This is normal.
That is the most important line in the whole section. It is a release valve for all that pressure. This isn't a tragedy. It's not a failure. We have this immense cultural pressure that if we don't make the history books, if we don't have a statue or a Wikipedia page or a viral legacy, that we've somehow wasted our time on Earth.
Hmm.
But the source argues that anonymity is the default human experience.
It's the factory setting.
Exactly. Being forgotten isn't a sign that you lived a bad life. It's just the standard setting for the human condition. Billions upon billions of people have lived, loved, struggled, and died, and the timeline has washed over them like the tide washing over a sandcastle. And that's okay.
So if being forgotten is inevitable, if the two-generation rule applies to almost everyone, unless you're, I don't know, Caesar or Shakespeare or
No.
Einstein, then we have to completely reframe our definition of worth.
We have to. It's a logical necessity. Your definition of a worthy life is people will know my name and my specific joys in the year 2125. You are setting yourself up to lose. The math is completely against you.
The text explicitly states this does not mean life is futile. And I think that's a really important distinction to make because it's an easy trap to fall into.
Right. Because the danger of this line of thinking, this nothing lasts philosophy, is that it can easily slip into nihilism. Well, nothing matters, so why bother? Why go to work? Why be nice to people? Why create anything? It's all just dust.
That's the trap, the lazy interpretation.
But the source steers us sharply away from that. It argues that if the purpose of life isn't legacy, because legacy is an illusion for 99.9% of us, then the purpose must be something else entirely. It shifts the entire axis of value from the future to the present.
From the then to the now.
Precisely. If I can't thank my actions for 100 years from now, then I have to cash them in today. The value of the action has to be intrinsic. I have to do the work because I enjoy the process of the work or because it helps someone today, not because I want a statue in the park a century from now.
It forces you to look at the immediate experience. If I build a table, the value isn't that my great-grandchild will admire it. The value is the feeling of the wood in my hands right now. The utility it provides my family right now. The satisfaction of creating something useful right now.
It's a profound shift from a mindset of immortality to one of intensity. The intensity and quality of the present moment becomes the entire point.
This leads us to the next part of the text, which is about the burdens we carry. Because once you realize you won't be remembered, a lot of the heavy emotional lifting we do every day starts to look ridiculous.
It's like carrying a suitcase full of rocks on a long hike, and then someone points out that you don't even need the suitcase, let alone the rocks.
So let's look at section 3, the burdens we create. The source lists these specific anxieties that we carry around like weights. The first one is the absolute classic. What will people say?
Ah, yes. The fear of reputation. The fear of the other, the invisible audience we're always performing for.
We curate our lives based on this question. We dress a certain way, we speak a certain way, we post certain things online, all to manage what people say.
But if we apply the 100-year rule, the people who are saying things, they're in the same boat as us. They have the same expiration date.
The audience is just as temporary as the actor on the stage.
Exactly. You are performing for an audience that is about to leave the theater. Why are you so terrified of their judgment? Their opinions have the same shelf life as yours. 2 generations max. They won't be here to judge you in a blink of cosmic time.
It's like actors on a stage, terrified of the critics in the front row. But the whole theater is on fire, and everyone is going to have to evacuate in 10 minutes anyway.
That's a vivid analogy, but yes, the criticism doesn't stick because the critics don't stick.
The text also mentions the next fear. I shouldn't get left behind. This one really touches on modern FOMO and the culture of comparison.
I shouldn't get left behind. That is such a modern plague. We look at LinkedIn, we look at Instagram, we see our peers getting promotions, buying bigger houses, going on more exotic vacations, and we feel this panic, this sense that there is this race and everyone is sprinting ahead of us.
We feel like we're losing.
But the source is asking a very simple question. Left behind where? Where is everyone running to?
That's the question, isn't it? If the destination is the same for everyone, that 100-year reset, then the speed doesn't matter as much as the quality of the journey.
They are running full tilt toward that same cliff. That's the logical fallacy of the anxiety that the text points out. We're stressing over our position and rank in a race that has a definitive, totally equalizing finish line for everyone. The CEO and the janitor share the exact same fate in the 100-year timeline.
The text also lists my identity, my fear, and my control as these false burdens. Let's talk about control. I know I struggle with this one. I like to have a plan. I like to be in control.
We all do. Control is the biggest illusion we sell ourselves. We think if we worry enough, if we plan enough, if we stress enough, we can control the outcome. We can steer the ship of our lives exactly where we want it to go, avoiding all storms.
But the text argues we're trying to control a timeline we won't even be present for.
It's like trying to steer a car that you aren't even sitting in anymore, or trying to direct a movie that you've already been written out of in the first act. You are expending enormous amounts of precious energy trying to manipulate a future that simply does not belong to you.
So we have these burdens: reputation, comparison, ego, control. The text argues that these are false burdens. They are heavy, yes, they feel incredibly real, but they are unnecessary. They are rocks we picked up and put in our pockets voluntarily.
And the source says that when you realize this, when you really internalize the mortality of the audience and, more importantly, of yourself, something shifts. It's not that you become reckless or stop caring about anything. It's that you gain what the text calls clean sight.
Clean sight. I love that phrase. This brings us to section 4, the shift from fear to clarity. The source suggests that realizing mortality shouldn't bring fear, but clarity.
Think about a foggy windshield on a cold morning.
Okay.
Anxiety, ego, the fear of what will they say? That's the fog. It obscures everything. You can't see the road ahead. You're just tense, gripping the wheel, worried about what you can't see. When you accept the 100-year reset, it's like the defroster finally kicks in, the fog wipes away, you see the road for what it is.
And what happens when the view clears? The text says the individual steps out of the unnecessary race.
You stop running just because everyone else is running. You look around and you say, wait a minute, why am I sprinting? I don't even like running. You start walking where you actually want to go at your own pace.
And significantly, the text says this: procrastination stops.
This is where it gets really interesting for me psychologically, because usually we think the opposite. We think, well, if I'm going to die anyway, why do anything? I'll just sit on the couch and watch TV.
Right. The why bother effect. The nihilist trap again.
But the source argues the absolute opposite. It says mortality kills procrastination.
Walk me through that logic again. How does that work?
It comes down to the psychology of time. Why do we procrastinate? Why do we say, I'll write that book next year, or I'll fix that broken relationship later?
Because we think we have time. We assume later is a real place that will always be there for us.
We think the supply of time is infinite. We treat it like a renewable resource. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. But when you truly accept that everything is temporary, that you are burning your finite supply of youth and peace right this second, and the supply is limited, the current moment becomes incredibly precious. Scarcity creates value.
Yeah, it's like if you have infinite gold, gold is worthless. If you have just a tiny amount of gold, it's priceless.
Exactly. If you believe you have infinite days, then today doesn't matter that much. You can afford to waste it. But if you realize your days are numbered and that the reset is coming, suddenly today is all that matters.
It shifts the entire mindset from sometime ever to now.
The source's logic is this: if this experience is temporary, I need to taste it now. I need to do the thing now. I can't bank it for a future I won't have.
It's like, you know, when you're on a 2-week vacation,
Mm-hmm.
the first few days you might laze around, you waste time, you scroll on your phone, sort of take it for granted. You're just settling in.
Sure, you have plenty of time.
But what happens on the very last day of that vacation?
Oh, the energy shifts completely. It's a totally different feeling. You're up at sunrise. You want to see the ocean one last time. You want to eat at that one restaurant you missed. You are hyper present.
You don't look at your phone.
Not at all, because you don't want to miss the sunset. You want to soak in every last second.
Exactly. You stop wasting time and start enjoying the view because you know the flight home is tomorrow. The source is saying the flight home is coming for all of us. Treat your life like that last day of vacation.
And that urgency isn't panic. That's the key difference. It's
Well-
not running around screaming it's all ending. It's a deep appreciation. It's a kind of savoring.
It's drinking the coffee and actually tasting it, instead of just using it as fuel, because you know you won't be drinking coffee for eternity.
And that leads us to the source's ultimate conclusion about what a lived life actually looks like. Because if we aren't living for legacy and we aren't living for a future we won't see, what on earth are we living for?
Which brings us to section 5, the definition of a lived life. The text concludes that this perspective, this 100-year reset, it doesn't shorten life, it makes it honest.
Honest. That's a word we really need to unpack. Because in this context, honesty isn't just about telling the truth to other people like, I didn't steal that cookie. It's much deeper than that.
It seems to be about a kind of An internal honesty, honesty with yourself.
Right. It's about living a life that is true to your internal reality, rather than constantly performing for an external and, as we've established, temporary audience.
So an honest life is doing what you actually want to do, not what you think you should do for a legacy that's not going to exist anyway.
Precisely. If there is no audience in 100 years, the performance is meaningless. So you might as well drop the act and be authentic.
Can you give me an example of what a dishonest life would be in this context?
A dishonest life is staying in a career you hate for 40 years because you want the status of the job title on your business card. You are miserable every single day, sacrificing your peace and your sleep, all to impress people who will forget you, to build a reputation that will completely vanish. That is a fundamentally dishonest use of your one limited, precious life.
Or suppressing your big, loud laugh because you want to look more professional in a meeting.
Yes.
Or not telling someone you love them because you're afraid of the rejection of what it would look like.
Exactly. If the timeline is finite, holding back is a waste of that finite time. The text is urging us to drop the performance. The audience isn't really watching, or rather, the audience is going to leave soon. So dance how you want to dance. Sing the song you want to sing.
It really reframes the whole concept of success. We usually define success by what remains after we're gone. He built a library. She wrote a classic novel that's still read.
But the source says success is the quality of the experience right now. It brings us right back to that great-grandparent test. We don't know if our great-grandfather was successful by modern standards. We don't know his net worth. We don't know his job title.
But we hope intuitively that he was happy.
That's it. That's the only thing we care about for him. We hope he felt the sun on his face. We hope he loved someone and was loved back. We hope he had moments of quiet. We hope he didn't spend his limited time drowning in all that noise.
That's the only wish we have for him. And strangely, that's the only wish we should really have for ourselves.
It's the texture of the day. It's the breath in the house before the stranger moves in. It's the drive in the car before it becomes a heap of scrap metal. It's the joy of the moment, consumed in the moment.
It's about eating the fruit, not trying to preserve it in a jar for a century.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
This has been heavy, but in a good way. Like finally dropping a heavy backpack you didn't even realize you were wearing the whole time.
It feels lighter, doesn't it, paradoxically?
It really does. Let's head into our outro and just summarize what we've unpacked here, because I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
We did. We started with the 100-year hypothesis, the hard fact that a full reset is coming. It isn't a probability, it's a certainty. The calendar turns and the cast of characters on planet Earth changes completely.
Then we took the great-grandparent test, and we both failed it. And if you're listening, you probably failed it too. But the lesson wasn't to feel guilty about forgetting.
No, the lesson was liberation. If you don't know them, their deep fears, their specific smiles, then your great-grandkids won't know you in that way either. And that is okay. It is normal. It is not a failure of your life. It is the nature of life.
And realizing this offers a profound liberation. It allows us to drop the burden of forever. We don't have to carry the weight of eternity on our shoulders. We just have to carry the weight of today, which is much, much lighter.
And that ties back perfectly to the title, Quiet After Noise. The noise is the ego. The noise is the anxiety about the future. The noise is what will they say. The quiet is the acceptance of reality. It's the peace that comes when you stop fighting the timeline.
It reminds me of that line from the text that we keep coming back to. This does not mean life is futile. It means the meaning is here, not there. It's in the doing, not in the being remembered for the doing.
Exactly. The meaning isn't in the residue we leave behind. It's in the burning of the flame itself, the quality of the light it gives off right now.
Before we sign off, I want to leave the listener with a final thought, something provocative to mull over that comes directly from the logic we've been discussing today.
Go for it.
We've established that the 100-year reset wipes the slate clean. We've established that the audience is temporary. So here's the question I want you to carry into your day. If you knew for a fact, with absolute 100% certainty, that nothing you do today would be remembered in 100 years, what is the one thing you would stop worrying about right now?
That's the question. What burden would you put down immediately? Would it be the opinion of your boss? Would it be the number of likes on your last post? The state of your lawn? That awkward thing you said at a party last week?
Think about that. Identify the weight that only exists because you're trying to impress the future. And maybe, just maybe, give yourself permission to put it down.
Walk a little lighter.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. This was a special one.
It really was. A pleasure as always.
Let's see you next time.